And taking a closer look at the actual 6x9s, these are Kicker CSC 693, highly recommended on crutch fields. These were about $110 for the pair and highly recommended from everyone on Tacoma World. So let's go ahead and prepare these speakers before we install them in the truck. Okay, first step of the preparation before these can go in the truck, you need to take this actual 6x9 and mount it into the adapter plate using the supplied screws from the speakers. So let's go ahead, open these things up and mount them in the plates. And the Kicker 6x9s are successfully mounted in the speaker adapter plates. Now, one thing to note is the screws that came with the speakers, don't use these, because during the process of installing these things, I was able to actually put a little bit of pressure on the bottom of these plates and it would just separate from the speaker. And you don't want to be installing these things in your doors and then these speakers become loose later on. Okay, so just do yourself a favor, don't use the screws that came with the Kicker speakers. Go ahead and put this in your screw box for later use down the road. Anyhow, here's a side-by-side difference. Here's the Kicker screws, and here's a slightly large diameter screw I had in my screw box. These are now held in place pretty well. The bracket's not able to slide downwards. Last thing you want to do is go ahead and install these things in your doors, and later on down the road, these things are rattling or coming apart. So don't do that measure. Go ahead and use a slightly larger diameter self-tapping screw. So anyways, here's a side-by-side difference of the screws. This is what came with the Kicker speakers. As you can see, it's a slightly smaller diameter than the screws I used. This is just going one size up. I don't know the size exactly, but I had these in my screw box. And now the plastic adapter bracket is fully secured to the 6x9s. I don't have to worry about these things becoming loose later down the road. Okay, the next step of this process is to go ahead and wire these things up. But before doing so, I want to show you guys on this plastic bracket, you need to have this little top circle facing the top. Same thing here. This little top circle right here that faces the top goes up towards the window. So let's go ahead and flip these speakers over carefully. And as you can see, there's a hole right here. So go ahead, grab one of your speaker adapters and basically just feed the small connectors into this opening right here. Okay, so both of the wires are fed through the hole. As you can see, we got two connectors, and the speaker adapter wire is now fed through the hole. As you can see, we have two connectors. One small, one large. The large one will go on this red tab right here, and the small one will go on the narrow one right here. So let's go ahead and plug this up. All right, I'm about to put the camera down for this one. This one's a little tough to get right here. It's got some pressure to it. Okay, now that it's time to take off the door panel so we can install these new 6x9 speakers on the lower portion right there. First thing you want to do is go ahead and remove this sail panel. Basically, you just want to kind of gently grab it and pull it off. Second step is this push clip. Go ahead and push on the inside of this clip. It should then pop out and it should be able to release it. And the next step is the door handle. Go ahead and put the plastic pry piece right in here and carefully pry it out. You might want to open the door handle in order to get this plastic piece out. There is then a Phillips head screw right behind here. Go ahead and remove that. Next, on the door handle pull, there's this little felt cover right there. Go ahead and get your plastic pry tool and pop this cover off. And there should be a Phillips head screw right down inside there. Remove that screw. Next step, go ahead and put an index card right here with a plastic pry tool and pry this up. You want to go from back to forwards real carefully. On the underside, there will be 2 harness connectors. Go ahead and disconnect those harness connectors by squeezing the clip and pulling down, and then you can go ahead and remove the window controls from the actual door panel. And the next step is go ahead and release the push clips. They're on the right side, bottom side, and left side of the door panel. Kind of want to work your way around it and just kind of gently pop each one. And then once those things are popped, we should be able to lift this up and then outwards. And then we can go ahead and disconnect the door handle from the actual door panel itself, because the door handle and lock has 2 cables on it. We don't want to mess with that. And the door panel is finally removed from the Tacoma. Now let me go ahead and tell you about this door handle. It's a little tricky to remove. There's actually a tab right here, another tab right there, and actually kind of locks in on the front right there. So once you release this top tab and this bottom tab, this handle should come out real easy. So just an FYI, some people like to put a 12-inch bucket right there and hang the door panel on top of that, but I figured this is much easier and it'll protect the door panel from any damage. Okay, so now we have straight access to the factory speaker. As you can see, the factory speaker is made of paper and got some inexpensive surround right there, foam right there, mostly a plastic basket. And then we got 4 10mm bolts. We're gonna go ahead and remove those 10mm bolts, but before doing so, let's go ahead and remove the connector. I believe we squeeze this little connector right here. I believe we squeeze this in and then pull it outwards. There it is. It's now disconnected. So now let's go ahead and take our ratchet, remove those 4 10mm bolts, and the speaker assembly should come right out. And then once this OEM speaker is removed, we'll go ahead and put the kicker 6x9 in the speaker bracket into position, and then put the 10mm bolts back in place. And then we'll take our factory connector and connect this onto the speaker adapter for the kicker. So let's go ahead and take care of this. And now the kicker 6x9 speaker and coordinating speaker adapter is now bolted to the door Tacoma. Also made the speaker connection as well. And then I put a piece of Gorilla double-sided tape on the top here just to avoid any rattling of this connector. Now we can go ahead and install the door panel in the reverse order. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together. Alrighty guys, this wraps up the installation of the Kicker 6x9s for the front doors of the Tacoma. Now the dash tweeters provide better highs in the vocals, while the door speakers picked up the mid-level and low sounds. These made the biggest difference by far, especially with the bass response, as the Toyota OEM paper units were extremely cheaply built. Now you may want to give these speakers a few days or even a week to break in, and once they do, they're going to sound absolutely fantastic. Now regarding the price of these speakers, I picked them up on sale, which includes speaker wire harnesses and the mounting brackets, all for just $104. Well worth it, and these things drastically clean up the sound and go louder than the factory paper units. Anyhow, hope y'all can stay tuned as we replace the rear speakers next to see if those make any difference or not. Now if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.